morning we joined Candice Robinson at Bass Racing to take us through her runners for Hollywood Bets Kenilworth on Tuesday. Candice, some lovely runners, but we'll start off in race 1. You've got Diamond Rock, lovely first run. Has he come on?
Yes, he's a very nice colt, Vicky. I think that first run he was quite green and he ran on very nicely. I still think that a sprint is a little bit on the sharp side for him. He's going to be a much better horse once he goes around the turn, but he's going to have one more run, I think, just to bring him on enough to be ready to go around the turn. So yeah, he's a very nice horse, and I think he'll be running on again. It's obviously a very tough race. Obviously with stake money like that, there are some decent horses in that field. So probably a money chance at best, I would think.
Talking about horses with good form, Future Variety, the penny really dropped towards the latter part of the race. Has he come on from the run?
Yeah, Vicky's a lovely horse, and he's got a big lopey stride, and he was running on strongly late last time. And Justin had a horse that jumped and went really, and it was hard for him to try and keep up with that horse first time out. I think he'll be much better off over 12 this time around. He's doing really nicely at home, but again, it's a very strong field. There's some tough horses that we're taking on, but I definitely think he'll have a good chance if he repeats his. Well, he's certainly come on from that last run at home, so if he brings that to the track, then he should have a good chance. Yes.
Race 2, Distant Winter. She comes in with some feature form. Are you expecting a good run from her?
Yeah, Vicky, I actually wasn't going to run her. I was going to run another filly, and she ended up, getting hurt. So I had to substitute her in with a little bit rushed for time to get her ready. On form, she should be hard to beat. She should be the filly to beat. I just hope that I've done enough with her at home. She's not a big filly, so she doesn't take a huge amount. She's come on from that last run, I think, and I think she's going to be a really nice filly in the making. So hopefully, in a maiden this time around, she should hopefully be good enough.
Race 4, Camila Claudell. You've got Craig Zaki aboard and drawn well out the 1,000 metres, but how will she enjoy the trip?
I think she might be slightly better filly over 12 than what she is over 1,000. Sometimes, she gets a little bit too aggressive in 1,000. Very nice run from her last time. She just didn't quite get the better of that filly that was in front of her. She's not the easiest of fillies to train. She's quite tricky. She's not easy to do what you would like to do with her on the track, and sometimes she puts in a decent run, and other times not that great a run. So a lot depends on how the race itself works out. But she's in good shape. She looks well at the moment. Her work has been okay at home. So again, if she repeats that last run, she should have a competitive chance. But it's always tricky with her.
Race 5, Country Time. She's coming off a little bit of a rest, but definitely distance suited.
Yeah, distance suited. She's coming off a break. A couple of fillies in there with, quite strong form that I think she's going to have to really put her best foot forward to be able to beat those fillies. So, yeah, tough race for her. First run back after a break. Also maybe a money chance at best.
Race 6, the 2 runners, also 1,000 metres. It's going to be a fast day's racing, but Benjamin, I know you can never leave him out because he can pop up at any point.
He can, and he's very much pace dependent, Vicky. If there's a good pace, you always know he'll be running on well. If there's no pace, then he just kind of plods in the straight. So I don't even know what his best distance is from 12 to 1,000. I think he enjoys the pace of 1,000 metres. He will be a little bit outpaced early on, but he's always doing well at home. I could never say a bad thing about him. His work is always good, and hopefully he can be competitive if the race works out for him.
You've got Aldo aboard Paroshka. He looks course and distance suited, but also coming off a bit of a rest.
Yeah, he's coming off a rest. He had an injury. He got an abscess in his hind fetlock, so he's been off for quite some time. It was either take him to Durbanville and have a gallop and then run him, and I thought we'd rather just put him in a race and he can have a gallop here. So I would imagine that he will need his run back. In saying that, sometimes, over 1,000 metres with him running fresh, he could run a decent race. So we'll have to just drop him in, and I'm sure he'll be running on nicely. But as I say, could possibly need it.
Well represented in race 7, the 3 runners. First them Costa Smeralda, drawn well over the 1,800.
Yeah, Vicky, I'm just sort of trying anything with her. I can't. She doesn't really have any proper kind of distance, and her form hasn't been great of late. She's got a very low merit rating, and she's under sufferance here again. But just trying something. She's drawn well. It's tough, but I'm hoping for a better run. Put it that way.
Royal Invitation. She seems to have really turned a corner since fitting the blinkers 3 starts ago.
She also hasn't run for quite some time now. She's also been off she got kicked, so she's been off for quite some time. I may have been better off bringing her back over a mile, but the 1800 presented itself and it was a fairly small field. She doesn't take a huge amount of work. She's had a gallop, so I'm hoping that would be enough. I don't think it's the strongest of field. There's some form in the field, and if she doesn't need it too much, she could be competitive.
Defining moment, the quirky fill in the yard, drawn a little bit wide, but she seems to be sort of finding her form.
Yeah, much better run from her last time. She got squeezed out at the start, so she ended up being a little bit further back than what I would like for her to have been. She's got the worst of the draws here, which is not ideal. I would love for her to have had a draw over the 1800 this time round. I think she could be competitive, but it's going to be a little bit tricky for her from that draw. I think she needs everything in her favour. So if she can get out, she's not the best out of the gates. If she can get out properly on terms and get a little bit handy, she could be a horse that you may want to include.
Race 8, it's the 1400 metres. First Elda's on flying first. Could we just ignore his last, or her last run, shall I rather say?
I hope so. We put the blinkers on her and Sean couldn't really hold it all, so she ended up chasing right around the field and compounding towards the end. So I think a line through that run. I've taken the blinkers off. She actually does need blinkers, but I mean not if she's going to race like that with them on, and especially not over a 14. I think she's looking for this sort of trip. Looking at the field, I think she should have a competitive chance.
Nippy Winter, I know she's another one of your syndicate fillies, but not too far for last 2 runs.
They've been begging for me to put her again over 1400. Vicky, I'm not sure whether the 1400 is her best trip, but she's not really doing a lot over the 12 at the moment. So I thought we'd have a bash. This is a good time to have another crack at the 1400. A much better run from her last time at Durbanville. She was actually running on quite nicely, and she had a bit of interference, so it was a good run from her. It all depends if she's going to get the 1400 or not. But other than that, she's in good shape.
Philosophize, she looked to be the sort of right one in the way that she won from a wide draw last time, and sort of a creditable win.
It was actually a very good win from her. She sat, at the back of the field, and she quickened up really nicely over the mile last time. Also, not the easiest of fillies to train. She's quite hot, and she doesn't take a huge amount of work. So sometimes you've either done a little bit too little, or otherwise, she does a bit much at times. So, there's no reason why, if she can bring that last run, there's no reason why she can't be competitive again in this field, and if she repeats that run, she certainly will be a filly that you should include.
In race 9, Raising Quinn, close up last time out, Elda, she's carrying a bit of a weight but looks to enjoy the 1400.
Yes, I think she ran in a mile last time. I think it's a touch on the far side for her. I think she prefers the 1400. She's obviously taking on the a mixed race here, so it's not really just fillies. Didn't look that strong. The field looked, it was like a fairly weakish field, and I thought she might as well take her chances here, despite the fact that she's got top weight. She's the kind of filly that likes to come from a little bit off the pace. She's not drawn that well, so I think all those things may suit her. And if there's a decent enough pace, she certainly will be running on. And I'm hoping that she's always knocking on the door, so I'm hoping that she can be competitive enough to win here.
Candice, all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Candice for her comments, and wishing the yard all the best. Hope the runners run to form.